So do as you wish, but I'm just repeating what we've always done and mentioning what the calendar says. So complete fast today until noon, and then feasting tomorrow. Tomorrow is Vamanadev's appearance day. Is it clear? You don't have to, I'm not saying you have to follow, but that's the standard which Gaudiya Vaishnavas follow. Those who are following. And some of you may not be following, so that's okay. Your choice. At least the information is there. Hare Krishna. And today, being a Kaddashi, we'll sing. This book stands not much. You can't use it. I can't read like this. You need one like that, you know. You can't leave it there and read it. It's impossible. At least I can read it like that. So we'll sing, Hey Bhajan. And you have to look it up because I don't think you have it on your songbook unless you have we only found one songbook, perhaps you have more or not, I do not know. But generally speaking now you can get everything on the mobile. If there's internet, that is.
Yes.
So this is called Shuddha Bhakata. Shuddha Bhakata.
There is an application, Vaishnava songs, so available for Android.
You can make your application and you might
It's
get
already
it.
there.
It's already there. Wow, isn't that wonderful? Okay, so I don't know if you have a songbook, but has everyone sort of got it? It's easy to find. Garanga. Someone can play harmonium. Dumadanga. Maybe Mananda can play Madanga. It's a bit high pitched. Can we turn it a little bit down or something? It's kind of real sharp. It can be quite heavy. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Who's a good harmonium player? You good? Okay, good. Manu, it looks like you've been voted in. Sundar Nitai is not here this morning. What's Sundar Nitai doing? Cooking?
He was here today. He was there.
He was Mangalarti, he was there.
He had his car.
Don't know how I'm going to do this. I need it about this high. I can't play and hold it at the same time. Not possible. What to do? I guess I can see it. I can see it now. It's kind of okay. There's an angle. A new angle. The song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, which is often sung on Ekadashi, because there's one line there which goes, this line 2, Madhava Titi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori. I observe with great care the holy days like Ekadashi and Janmastami. So they are the mothers of devotion. Mother of devotion. They're the nurturers of our devotional creeper. Ekadashi and Janmashtami, festival days. So often we sing this song. We won't read the whole translation. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Paschata Desattarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasani Gauravacharya. Wait till we sing the song, man. Wait till we start the song. No need to play the harmony now. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasani Gauravacharya Shudha Bhakata Chara Shudha Bhakata Chara Narenu Bhajana Nukula Shudha Bhakata Chara Narenu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Premalatikara Mula Madhavaditi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori Krishna Vasati Vasati Bhumi Paramadare Bori Sundar Nitai is here if you want him to play, he's here. Sundar's here if you need him to play. Sundar Nitai is here if you want him to play harmonium. It's up to you, Gauramara Yesabastani Kolo Brahmana Rage Amara Yesabastani Kolo Brahmana Rage Sesabastana Eribohami Panai Bhakata Sange Ere Bhavani Panai Bhakata Sange Mirangavarya Shunite Mahana Abasara Sadajate Madhajara Garabhita Kirtana Shuni Anande Vidoya Nate Gita Kirtana Shuni Anande Vidoya Nate Tugala Murti Dikhyamora Parama Ananda Hoya Murti Prasada Seva Karite Hoya Sakala Prapancha Jaya Jedina Grihe Bhajana Deki Vihete Kokamaya Jagana Siddho Dekhiyanga Sukha Sasima Paya Tulasi Dekhi Churayapan Madhava Toshan Nijani Gaura Priya Shaka Sevani Jivana Sartaka Mani Bhakti Vinoda Krishna Bhajani Anukuro Bhayaja Prati Divase Paramasuke Shvikara Koro Yeta Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu Bhajanana Anukula Bhakta Seva Paramasiddhi Vimalati Karamula Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki. Shri Shri Panchatattva ki. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki. Oh, Premanandi. Oh, Hare Krishna, what an opulent garland. From your garden, Manu Prabhu?
Yes, I grew it last night.
Huh?
I grew it last night.
You grew it last night? That's amazing. You must have been reading Chaitanya Bhagavat last night. Well, we'll try to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita this morning with your... Well, blessings or no blessings, we're going to do it. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhaktavinda Gauranga Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Let's see what we'll read from. We're reading from the Adi Lila, chapter 9. And for your information, on the BBT publications, there's no volume. This volume doesn't exist in your set there. You've got 2 volume 1s and no volume 2. This is the Ritwik publication, the Krishna Booking Corporate, which you happen to have over there, which is good. It's good you got it, because we wouldn't have it at all otherwise. But I don't know what happened to the BBT one. You've got 2 or 3 BBT volume 1s, but no volume 2. Somebody has presumably borrowed it. Borrowed it.
Indefinitely.
We're not sure about that. Nothing is indefinite in this world. So let's see, where shall we start? Okay, well, we'll start here. Sentiment, nostalgic. Nostalgia. Who's from Bengal here? How many Bengalis are here? I know you were from Bengal yesterday as well.
Yeah.
You're still from Bengal, are you?
From the west side.
From West Bengal, you're west side, on the west of Bengal. Okay. So we'll ask our Bengali to recite the Bengali.
Let's see if I can remember the verse.
Yeah, you can remember. This is Adi Lila chapter 9, text number 25 onwards. Huh? So you can recite them off by heart. Are you from Bengal? Are you from Bengal?
No.
Where are you from?
Pune.
Pune?
That's the verse on the...
Pune, Maharashtra.
I heard.
You have it now?
I'm from Delhi, Maharashtra.
Delhi? Mataji?
South India, Kerala.
Kerala?
Bihar.
Bihar?
Srirangam, Tamil Nadu.
Huh?
Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu?
Not Bengali.
Holland? Netherlands?
Holy land.
Netherlands. From the Holy Dam, Rotterdam. Or Amsterdam. From the whole land, Holy Land. Anyone else from, you are from, which part of Bengal are you from?
Nabodweep.
No.
Nabodweep down.
Nabodweep. Where are you from? Huh? Oh, you were sitting. Oh, you were sitting there. Okay, you were back again. You were a Delhiite, is it? A Delhiite.
Rohini.
Huh?
Rohini. Rohini.
Rohini.
You just write.
Rohini. Rohini. Oh, you're from Rohini temple. I would have seen you in Rohini probably. I stay there every time I go to Delhi. I usually stay in Rohini. Good, Rohini. So here we are, chapter 9, text 25. Udumbara vrikshayena pali sarva ange he mata bhakti vrikshe sarvatra palolage. As a big fig tree bears fruits all over its body, each part of the tree of devotional service bore fruit. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, this tree of devotional service is not of this material world. It grows in the spiritual world where there is no distinction between one part of the body and another. It is something like a tree of sugar. For whichever part of such a tree one tastes, it is always sweet. The tree of bhakti has varieties of branches, leaves and fruits, but they are all meant for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are 9 different processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmani Vedanam. But all of them are meant only for the service of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, whether one hears, chants, remembers, or worships, his activities will yield the same result. Which one of these processes will be the most suitable for a particular devotee depends upon his taste. As we see when you go to a sweet shop, I'm sure you have sweet shops in Dublin. There are many varieties of sweets, they're all sweets. And different people choose different sweets. And even in our Vaishnav family, there are many sweets, and different devotees like different sweets. What sweet do you like, Manu Prabhu? If you eat, even if you don't eat sweets, I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you like sweets.
You know, the restaurant down there has different cakes every day, and you know, just I find it very difficult to walk past them without going forward.
You can't walk past them. Why?
I just keep on. I end up having one every day.
You have a cake a day.
Yes.
A cake a day keeps Krishna away. Keeps Maya away. Maya, not Krishna.
Prasadam cake.
Prasad, okay. At least it's Krishna Prasad. So if you walk past a normal cake shop or whatever you call it out there, you wouldn't be very good. It would definitely keep Krishna away. What's your favorite Bengali? What's your Bengali? I don't know your name. What's your name?
Shundar Nitai.
Shundar. Where did you learn Bengali?
YouTube.
What's your favorite sweet?
I think it might be.
I think it
There's so
might
many
be.
Rasmalai.
That's a very
Rasmalai.
confirmative statement there.
Well, there is
Rashmalai.
Rasmalai.
Very nice. What's your favorite sweet?
Gulab Jamun.
Oh,
Gulab Jamun. What's your favorite?
As of now, cheesecake.
Huh?
Oh.
Cheesecake. You've been well. You're the same, huh? Well, you've been. Let's say you really become a Western Irish man or something. What's your favorite?
Rabri.
Rubbery. And, what's your favorite sweet? What's yours?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake also, my goodness. Cheesecake, that's three for cheesecake.
Placing an order.
What's your favorite cake? Huh? Burfi, good. I'm glad someone's on the Burfi page. What's yours?
The cheesecake.
This is almost overwhelming here. Yours is cake, so it's just add a bit of cheese, you get cheesecake. And what's yours? Rasgulla. Okay. What's yours? Hey, what's yours?
Coconut
Huh?
laddu.
Ladu. Well, coconut laddu of all laddus. And what's your favorite? Rasamalai. Okay, Rasamalai goes second. Another West Bengali over there, it must be. Yeah. And who else hasn't given? Who didn't give yet? You didn't give. No, you didn't give. Burfi. Okay, Burfi. 2 for Burfi. Definitely, that was really emphatic. Oh, Burfi. If it's made with deep, I mean, if you've ever had Kalangana's Burfi, has anyone ever tasted Mother Kalangana's Burfi? But her sandesh and everything she cooks is just, it would be your favorite, no matter what it would be, huh? Everything she cooked would become your favorite. Some of you have not tasted her devotion. Of course, she's moved on to another plane where she's preparing Krishna's sweets there somewhere. Even Yamuna, the famous ISKCON cook, said, if you want to know about milk sweets, ask Kalangana, don't ask me. She's the expert. She cooks with such devotion that it's like 100% devotion. Jivananda, you never mentioned.
I like all of them which were mentioned.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I can only add like Shrikant and a few others.
Shrikant, okay, here we go. He's got the whole shop. And yours?
Idli dosha.
Is that a sweet?
No, that is
Sweet idli.
sweet gir.
Kheer.
Gir
Kheer
Huh?
payasam.
Payasam, kheer. Well, I'm funny you should say that. I was thinking of that too. But in the northwest, it's a little bit different than the payasam in the south, but it's the same principle. That payasam, but yes, kheer. And anyway, it's absolutely. Nobody mentioned halava. Oh. I was surprised. But anyway, whatever, they're all absolutely delicious and amazing the variety there, isn't it? About 15 different varieties of sweets were mentioned just amongst the 20 of us here. And so we can see how wonderful variety is there. But they're all sweet and they're all delicious and different tastes. And there's nothing wrong with one or the other. There's not like, we don't fight over it necessarily, or hopefully rubbery. No! Cheesecake! Boom! Cheesecake! Boom! No! Burfi! Boom! Fight in the shop down there in the restaurant. What to do? Different tastes. When Krishna's in the center, it's all nice, huh? All harmonious. Next verse. And that's the sweetness of Krishna consciousness, is the variety. They say variety is the spice of life, isn't it? It adds flavor. Just like this garland here. It'd be nice if they're all white, that's also nice. But when there's a nice blend, pink, red, white, it looks nice, huh? It adds sort of like, it just makes it nicer. Variety. It's like if everyone was walking around with, every single person was walking around with simply white clothes. And everyone's white. Everything's white. Your shoes are white, your watch is white, everything, your hair is white, everything's white. Okay, but it's a bit boring. Boring, maybe you say boring. Huh? It's not very, but variety makes it attractive, doesn't it? And to some people, they don't like different tastes. They don't like certain combinations, but in principle, yes, everyone likes a bit of variety. It's like in music, if you just have the same tune for every single musical presentation, the same everything all the time, it'd be a little bit boring, wouldn't it? Even Prithu Prabhu told me, when Prithu Prabhu was living up at Innisrath, as some of you know, and he spent quite a bit of time singing for Srila Prabhupada in Prabhupada's room in 1977, you know, doing kirtan. And Prabhupada sent a message. He was singing the next near. Prabhupada was very physically ill. We'd always have a 24-hour kirtan, so he would sing at the night. And Prabhupada told his servant, "Can you tell him to change the tune? It's really boring." He said like that. Prithu told us. Next verse. Mula skandera shakara upashaka gane lagilahi prema polumi takekine. Please correct me for my pronunciation.
Kubalo.
Okay, good. Since Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the original trunk, the taste of the fruit that grew on the branches and sub-branches surpassed the taste of nectar. When we get it from the original, then it has the real taste. Next verse. Pakilaye prema pala amita madhura Bilaya chaitanya mali nahilaya mula. The fruits ripened and became sweet and nectarian. The gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, distributed them without asking any price. Chi jagate yata che donaratnamani eka polero mulyo kori toho no hegani. All the wealth in the three worlds cannot equal the value of one such nectarian fruit of devotional service. Try to hear, because I'm not going to stop until we reach a purport. Magiva namagi keha patra va apatra ihara vichara nahi jani deya matra. Not considering who asked for it and who did not ask for it, nor who was fit and who was unfit to receive it, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruit of devotional service. As was mentioned earlier, he gave it freely. Giving it freely can be understood in two ways, can't it? You're just doing it without discrimination. That's one thing. But it doesn't mean that there's no price, necessarily. The other one is you give it with no price whatsoever. So in one sense there's no price, but on the other sense, to receive it there's a price. And that we hear elsewhere. But he's giving it to, and everyone's welcome. There is no discrimination. Everyone is welcome to receive it. Purport. This is the sum and substance of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. There is no distinction made between those who are fit and those who are not fit to hear or take part in the Sankirtan movement. What example can you give of that? That something was given freely, but still you have to pay a price.
Books, transcendental books.
You could use that, or you could say that isn't an example, because you can also give them freely without any price. Give some other example. Or extend that example. A simpler example, which Prabhupada gives them.
Public transport for elderly people, but then you have to be elderly.
Oh, okay, that's discriminatory. Yeah, you could say that. So perhaps, I don't know if you get free public transport here.
I do.
You do. Are you elderly, are you?
66.
Pardon?
66, just in time. Yeah.
Oh, you've got it, okay. And I get it in England for the last 15 years. And, although I don't live there, still I get it. And, yeah, and the example, I don't think Prabhupada gave that as an example.
Will you repeat the question, Mara? Sorry, I didn't.
Again.
It's given freely, but you can't. Although it's you have to have a qualification to get it. Yeah.
The holy name.
Yeah, all these are correct, but another. I was thinking of different.
You
Huh?
have to have
The
faith.
love of mother. Spy face and
Well, she gives it freely to her child, but maybe not everywhere. Indiscriminate. Prabhupada gives the example of the moon. The moon shines for everyone, whether it's a demon or a devotee, dog or bird. But you just have to be in the moonlight. If you stay indoors, you don't get the benefit, isn't it? So it's there for everyone. It doesn't discriminate between demon and dog and devotee. It shines for everyone. That's the example Prabhupada gives anyway. You could use any of those other examples. Because certainly the person, if you're distributing the holy name equally to all, it's really, what is the qualification? It's
The faith to take it.
the person, the receiver.
Yeah.
It's the receiver which is the qualification, not the distributor. Well, of course you can say there's a degree of potency in the distributor. The principle is they're distributing it freely. And the receiver has to decide whether they want to receive it or not. Radio waves, is up to you whether you want to tune into that program or not. It's made available to all. So we'll move forward here. It should be, therefore, preached without discrimination. The only purpose of the preachers of the Sankirtan movement must be to go on preaching without restriction. That is the way in which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced this Sankirtan movement to the world. And they just continue no matter whether the receiver receives or the receiver doesn't receive. It's irrelevant. I was reading this morning, and I can't remember, I didn't read it all, so I can't remember, where Srila Prabhupada was describing, I think it was Padumna asked, but Srila Prabhupada, they don't seem to be interested in our message, and Prabhupada said, it's not important. He was going down that line. We simply have to distribute it, whether they understand it or not. We have to continue to distribute this message. We'll read that tonight in it, word for word. My computer gets it together. The transcendental gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next verse, okay. Anjali, Anjali Bari Pele Chaturdishe Tare Turakudana Kaya Malakara Hase. The transcendental gardener. The transcendental gardener. You have to be transcendental. Across the road, every time I look across the road, I see the dental clinic. There's a dental clinic exactly opposite there, and on this side is a transcendental clinic here. So, is that right? Should be anyway. Lord Chaitanya was a transcendental gardener. He wasn't a mundane one. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed handful after handful of fruit in all directions. And when the poor, hungry people ate the fruit, the gardener smiled with great pleasure. Taking up one or two of your examples that you gave, let's say you had you're going down, you're going to set up your book table today in O'Connell Street. Do you ever put book tables out? So you say you put it today in O'Connell Street underneath the post office or something. I probably won't make you do that, but just say you did. And you have a big pile of books there. Hundreds of books, Bhagavad Gita. Free copy. Not everybody will take it, right? Some people will, for different reasons also. But many people won't, even though it's free. Is that? It's the discrimination of the other person. You're giving it freely. Everyone's welcome. Doesn't care less who you are. So Lord Chaitanya was like this. And when the poor, hungry people ate the fruit, the gardener smiled with great pleasure. When you see someone take the fruit, how do you feel? When you see someone take prasadam or chant along with you or take a book or something like that, what do you feel?
Happy.
You feel good, huh? You feel happy, huh? And materially also people have some experience of that too, but it's a mundane one. Next verse. Malakarakahi shunna vriksha parivar Mula shakha upashakha yate kapakar. Lord Chaitanya thus addressed the multifarious varieties of branches and sub-branches of the tree of devotional service. These are all his limbs, you could say. He addressed them like this. Alokiko vrikshakare savendriya karma Stavarahaya dare jangamera dharma. Since the tree of devotional service is transcendental, every one of its parts can perform the action of all the others. Although a tree is supposed to be immovable, this tree nevertheless moves. Srila Prabhupada writes in purport, it is our experience in the material world that trees stand in one place. But in the spiritual world, a tree can go from one place to another. Have you ever seen a tree moving? I mean the leaves and the branches, but the actual tree itself. Suddenly getting up and moving across the ground. They do some kind of films like this, don't they, of moving trees, I've seen.
Like Lord of the Rings, I think.
That's right, isn't it? The trees walking. And there are many other, I'm sure there are many other similar kind of
The Wizard of Oz, I think I remember
depictions.
the trees moved.
The trees move.
Walking,
Okay.
Talking.
So they do things like this. There's some kind of reflection of the spiritual realm, of the transcendental trees, so that they can move. They're not. Now that is an interesting feature. Sometimes you think, oh God, what's it like? I don't want to be a tree in the spiritual world. Well, that's not too bad. But a blade of grass or a rock or something, they also move. They're not like, dead like they are in this world practically. They're fully conscious and they can move and like that. So this tree, Lord Chaitanya said, the tree nevertheless moves. Therefore everything in the spiritual world is called olokika, uncommon or transcendental. Uncommon and transcendental. Another feature of such a tree is that it can act universally. In the material world, the roots of a tree go deep within the earth to gather food. But in the spiritual world, the twigs, branches and leaves of the upper portion of the tree can act as well as the roots. It's not in the material world, everything's limited. You can walk on your hands, but it's pretty difficult. Pretty difficult. Some people say they can walk on their head, but that's very difficult. Bouncing on your head, I've never seen. Very uncomfortable, to say the least. You say, well, my body is spiritual, then try putting the cheesecake in your ear today, okay? And see how it works, okay? Ooh. Put the cheesecake in your ear, okay? Or some other organ besides your mouth. Stick it up your nose.
Won't be your favorite anymore.
Huh? Won't be your favorite anymore. Everything has, in this material, everything is kind of localized. Huh? Everything has its use. It only can be used for that. You can't use it for other things. Like the steering wheel. The steering wheel is round, the tire's round, but you can't use the tire or the wheel for the steering wheel, and you can't use the steering wheel for the tire. Maybe to a little degree, but not very practically. Not very practical. As you may be able to use your hands a little bit. You might get something if you stuff the cheesecake up your nose. Some of it might go down the throat. You won't taste it. It'll be very painful also. Very uncomfortable. Right? Everything has its material wood, everything's like that, but the spiritual world is not. It's, what can we say? We don't imitate it with a material body. Next verse. E vikshara angahaya sabase chetana Bhariya vyapila sabe sakala bhuvana. It's like that with Krishna. I mean, he eats through his eyes. He can do anything he likes. All of his limbs are completely transcendental, universal. He can do anything. All the parts of this tree are spiritually cognizant. They're fully aware. And thus, as they grow up, they spread all over the world. Ekala malakarami kahan kahan yaba. Ekala vakota pala padiya vilava. I am the only gardener, Lord Chaitanya says. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Now we're coming into, you could say, the practical application in our case. We can't imitate up to now, really. We can just try to be assistant to those branches, twigs, and fruits and leaves and whatever else is on Lord Chaitanya's tree. Here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicates that the distribution of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be performed by combined forces. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he laments, how can I act alone? How can I alone pick the fruit and distribute it all over the world? This indicates that all classes of devotees should combine to distribute the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without consideration of time, place and situation. What do you make of that?
Should work together and have a good plan.
Have a good time?
Have a good plan.
Oh, have a good plan.
Plan
Work together and have a good time, huh? Yeah. We can all sit around and eat cheesecakes and put them in each other's noses and ears and everything.
It's
Have a
also a
good
good
time.
plan.
That's a good time. Okay, give it a go today. See what happens in the restaurant today, you know. It'll create a few laughs, that's for sure. Go any further? We should all work together with a good plan to spread the Hare Krishna Mahamantra everywhere. Okay, that's good. Any other thing?
All classes of
What's that mean?
Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, types. You can all work together.
Okay, no matter what your gender, no matter what your qualities are, no matter what your occupation is, everyone should try to play their part, as everyone played their part to build the bridge to Lanka. Okay. Anything else?
We
Pardon?
engage in service and we also engage others in service so that it spreads out.
Okay, you engage everyone else, even if they're not devotees as such, at least not practicing devotees, you try to engage everyone else in also spreading the holy name somehow or another, or taking part.
Time, place and circumstance. Time, place and situation means that you keep going no matter what the situation.
You may have to adjust your
Yeah.
application a little bit, but the distribution continues. You have to find a way to distribute, right?
Yeah.
It might be online in some cases. It might be by written format, maybe by many different methods. You may somehow or another get people or spread the message, somehow or another. But what method it may be may vary according to time and circumstance, but it doesn't stop spreading. Okay, what else? Anything?
Something like appreciating each other's services because we're preaching in different ways to different people at different times.
Now you're getting very kind of like a little bit more, I say, what quality of the devotee in terms of appreciating others and in a way which will encourage them also to be a part of, to feel a part of, to participate in, and so on. Anything else?
Krishna is lamenting.
Krishna's what?
Lamenting.
Can you explain what that's
How can I
got?
act alone? How can I alone? He's like, he's
Oh
asking
yeah,
for
now you
others.
okay. You explain Lord Chaitanya. This is Lord
Yeah.
Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is feeling. That's like a big topic in of itself. But I was thinking in terms of that may be an inspiration, of course, for devotees. But in terms of all classes of devotees should unite together to spread Hare Krishna mantra everywhere. So, of course, it's been mentioned indirectly, but when we say all classes, let me see what Prabhupada says here. Distribution of Hare Krishna mantra should be performed by combined forces. So, sometimes Prabhupada says the holy name. That all people, all religions, especially if they're different Vaishnavas, no matter what the Sampradaya, and within Gaudiya Vaishnavas there are many groups. Is there anything wrong if we all combine together and spread the holy name? Oh no, don't go, don't come here. He's something else. But I don't think that's what Prabhupada is referring to. I think he wants every devotee to come together to spread the holy name. There may be, maybe in other areas there may be obviously some separate activities going on, separate behavior and so on. People are individual, but this is the uniting force. This is the uniting factor. We saw with the prasadam, if there's only cheesecake, some of you may not be so satisfied. There has to be burfi, there has to be rasmalai, there has to be rasgulla, there has to be kheer, there have to be this and that. Huh? Gulab Jamun. All these things have to be there to satisfy everyone. But the holy name, everyone. The holy name can unite every single person.
Right. Could I ask you to just to kind of elaborate on that in the sense that and also at certain times your Prabhupada was also kind of also cautious about kind of the mixing.
Yeah, but when the holy name has been Sankirtan, when it's actually Sankirtan, there is no alternative, there's no other agenda. It's just to chant the holy name. If you're coming with another agenda, you're not on Sankirtan. You're not performing Sankirtan.
Chanting the holy name, that removes all the difference.
It will if we actually surrender, if we actually absorb ourselves in. You don't care less. You don't even know who that person is. If you're dancing and chanting together, you don't go into the kirtan party. Who are you? Where are you coming from? You just get everyone, just dance and chant, And then, we can go back to Keturi, for instance, of Mother Janavi, Narottam Das's festival there. That was to bring, the Gaurapanim festival was actually established there in Keturi to unite all the deviations that had taken place, all the diversions, or whatever it was, amongst the Vaishnavas, which had already taken place a few decades after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's unwinding his pastime, so to speak. So it was going on then. To bring everyone together with a harmonious center, to focus on the goal, the desire of Lord Chaitanya that everywhere, everyone come together and perform Harinam, Sankirtan. Everything else is definitely speaking, there will be philosophical differences, there will be differences in the prasadam, there will be differences in the dress, there will be differences in the institutionalization, there will be so many differences in emphasis on which line or which level of devotion to emphasize. There will be so many differences. And they become, for those, as we were reading, where was it, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, anyone who's still in any way affected by the time element, in other words, by the material energy, cannot understand these transcendental subject matters. And what they'll do, what happens is, they sit around arguing with each other over topics which they have no understanding of at all, and end up committing offenses. And that's what's going on, basically. Unqualified that we are, we end up arguing with each other, trying to establish our imperfect understanding, and the danger of offenses become strong. But coming together, of course, you can find argumentation in anything, That's not the right way to sing it. No, those instruments shouldn't be played. No, you can't, there's, but that's, what would we say, missing the point. Well, there's a place for everything, but the principle is there that the Sankirtan movement, the chanting of the holy name particularly, is meant to unite all people. That's what it's meant. Without discrimination, Lord Chaitanya distributed the holy name. Anyway, of course it's a topic which has to be, as I say, understood in a careful way because we're not so advanced, but that's the principle at least.
Alright. Could I ask for some advice?
You're from West Bengal, you need advice, you should know everything.
We make mistakes there also. Sometimes when we are observing behavior in other people, then we, due to our own samskars, we can make judgments. And then when we make judgment, we can make, the other person can be offended. So I had a situation like this, and well, I have regularly, but I had it recently. And the person said, I don't want apology, I don't want to speak, bas, nothing, I don't. And then I couldn't really finish my comprehension or bring peace to the situation.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what could I do in such a situation?
Oh, yeah, these situations are very challenging, and they do happen, I'm afraid. As long as we're on that platform of we ourselves see ourselves as being, let's say, impure, maybe not clearly understanding our own position and so on. And maybe the other person also has a similar disposition. It's not our business to qualify. We generally look at our own hearts. Institutionally speaking, of course, we try to act according to the situation that we're in, following our authorities and so on. But internally, we look at our own hearts. It's a purificatory factor here. Every single devotee, no matter who they are, where they're from, what they are, has this same opportunity to become Krishna conscious. And it's really how we react to situations rather than, we may make whether it's a mistake or not a mistake, whatever you want to call it, that's secondary. It's how we react to it that really counts. And that we look in our own hearts. All these situations occur, you can analyze it externally, you may have to sometimes, but internally is where the real, I would say anyway, the real benefit lies. If the other devotee looks at it internally also, then that's good for them, and we hope they do. They may be completely correct, but still, Rupa Goswami, for instance, he was, when that deformed devotee passed by, at that moment he passed by his kutir, Rupa Goswami was laughing, and the deformed devotee thought he was laughing at him, but he wasn't at all, he wasn't even aware. He was laughing at some pastime which he was absorbed in internally, on a very high platform, but even that, he immediately felt, Rupa Goswami really felt something was wrong. He lost his, the rasa stopped, the relationship stopped. And something's gone. I've come in the fence, something's happened here. So he searched out the cause. So with us, it's really, we're not on that level. So we've got these internal purifications. And when these external situations occur, we can't necessarily do much about the externals. We're not God. You may try. You do your best. You ask forgiveness. I don't care. I'm not interested in an apology. I just don't want to know about you anymore. Get out my nose. Keep out my face. You're just an offender. Whatever the reaction is, what do you feel? I hate that person. I'm really going to plan against them now. That sometimes comes up, I don't like them anymore. They're demons, I'm going to make sure they're never allowed here again, or whatever it is, Something like that. Sometimes our response is like that. Sometimes, from the institutional point of view, if that's your duty, you have to do your duty, and it's not easy. Kshatriyas also, they retire at the age of 50 because they do have to deal with these things, and naturally there's some people don't like it, But so internally there's this pain, it's called anutapa in the heart, like a fever. You feel I've done something wrong, I've offended someone, I've misbehaved, I don't know what to do, you're like, oh, it's like, and it has a purifying effect when we turn the right way. If we don't use it if we don't try to defend it exactly, internally, Externally, you may have to uphold it, but internally, you don't defend yourself. You feel I'm an offender. I'm an offender. Oh my Lord, please purify me. I've offended a devotee. I've offended a person. Please purify me. Help me to act properly according to your will instead of my reaction. Internally, instead of being controlled by my conditioning or whatever it may be, my nature, whatever you want to call it, modes of nature. We turn to Krishna for purification, or we open our hearts to an advanced Vaishnava and ask for shelter and help. I'm afraid I've committed offense against a devotee. And, in this way, we're humble. To become humble, you become humbled. The main thing is to become humbled, and not to become, not become depressed, but to become humble, turn to Krishna. And not to become angry at the other person, or, realizing that Krishna is trying to teach me a lesson. He's teaching everyone, but we don't usually take it like that. There's always a lesson to learn in every situation that we find ourselves in. And it's not, the main lesson is not the external right and wrong behavior exactly, but it's the internal attitude, the internal intention within our hearts. And we're not God. I mean, even Srila Prabhupada was, misunderstood by many people, and they just didn't back out. They wouldn't back up. What to do? Prabhupada felt sorry that he couldn't help that person, or he couldn't, inspire that person. He felt sorry. Big topic, huh? But if we can look at it a little bit internally instead of just external rights and wrongs, what we should do, you should do this is right, that's wrong, this is partly right, this is 75% wrong. You get all this type of stuff, it never ends. Never ends. Rules, and you have to have another meeting to change the rules. Oh yeah, something came up the other day, I won't mention what it is. So the other devotee asked me if I could do something for them, a senior godbrother. And I said, well, I don't know if that's within the rules of ISKCON to do that. I said, I'll write to the GBC then. So they wrote to the GBC secretary, and the GBC secretary, we never thought of that one before. That's never been discussed in our meetings on this topic. There's actually nothing about it whatsoever. We can't say yes or no. To then have to have a meeting to add another little detail to the rights and wrongs, what can and what can't we do, and so on. It's never ending, isn't it? But these things, they kind of have to be in place within this material, but they're not the real thing, are they? They're just passing rules and regulations. One has to rise above that. You can't live on rules and regulations. They're there to assist us to get out of this situation, not to become controlled by it. It should be out of love that we act, not out of, what am I supposed to do here now? Punch him in the nose. No. I saw another devotee do that when they came here, but that didn't work very well. So call the police maybe. Oh God, what am I going to do? Better be quick, they're coming in. It's like, lock the door, that's the best, lock the door. Yes, huh?
I was just thinking that in different management positions, you're kind of trying to make decisions, and that they're the sort of things that you think about.
It's so difficult.
And then your own conditioning comes in as well.
Yeah, but when they react differently, then everything goes out the window and you go bananas. You start losing it or something, and everyone around you is looking. Yes, new person who's come for the first time. Love and peace, It's it's a dilemma that beyond and above all these externals, there's a deeper thing going on here. Don't realize it sometimes, We're not. This is not a lolly, what do they call it? Just to like pat people on the back and make everyone feel like that, you know. You're lovely, you're welcome, and whatever. That may be there, but that's not the solution. That's just a external kind of bait, in a sense. The only real thing is pure devotion. A pure devotee is guided by Krishna, and he always, whatever he does is for the ultimate benefit of everyone around them. They're universal. We're still localized. We're trying to catch on to that, but you know, and we're humbly accepting the fact that, you know, when we have our imperfections. Anyway, it's a great topic, and if it makes any valuable sense, a deep look in your heart of feeling. I mean, look at Ambarish Maharaj, for instance, completely innocent, but still he considered himself the fault man. He was faulty. I have committed an offense to Devasa. He didn't commit any offense at all, but he felt like that because Devasa was disturbed. He was angry, and he felt, I am the cause of his disturbance. You know, it was extreme.
I just wanted to ask that question again, because that seems to be, even people quite ask me that as well. They want to be the servant of Krishna. They want to act as way Krishna wants to act. Everyone kind of has that as the starting point. I want to be Krishna's instrument.
Yes, I do, but you're getting in my way. You're getting in my way.
But it just seems to be, what are the things that are stopping us from being that? And what way can we, you know, achieve that? You know?
What's stopping us from becoming the servant of Krishna? What do you think?
Well, I can think of a few things.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure we all can. Yeah.
The ego.
Pardon?
The ego.
False ego. That's the simple answer. You could say the false ego, very, very complete, false, simple answer, and it can be explained in details of various kinds, but in one sense it's simply the false ego, isn't it? Seeing ourselves in the center and not really seeing it from Krishna's perspective. Well, you can't jump from that to that, necessarily. There may be lots of little details that you have to deal with in between, so might you maybe think of a few details, I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. But it's just to get from that position of
I
trying.
mean, usually there was, say, offences.
It's another one.
Yeah, offences. You know what offences are?
If Rupa Goswami thought that he offended somebody just while he was.
Lord Chaitanya says, I have no taste for chanting because of offences. If we're offensive, and what does offensive mean? There are so many offences. There are numerous offences.
Aparadha.
Aparada, against Radharani, not pleasing to Radha. So but you know, we have Namaparad, for instance. It's a fact that if we're really seriously chanting the holy name with all of our heart and soul, surrendering to the holy name, you'll find so many things come into focus and place. Many of these situations you find yourself in, when, you know, the one you just kind of indicated, I don't know the details of it, but the principle of it is because there's something you have to learn. There's something inside your own consciousness which is off. And these situations illuminate that which is off. It's not by chance it's happening. But the same thing, a lot of times, say, why people, again, it's always happening to me. Why is it only happening to me? It doesn't happen to them. This is not fair. There's obviously something in one's own, you know, consciousness which needs to be adjusted.
Yes.
And Krishna's trying to, what it is, we're not going to get into those details, that's a never-ending topic. But you have to see that, well, maybe the problem's within me, not everybody else. Maybe I'm seeing it wrongly.
I had a friend, he told me about something that happened to him recently. He'd taken something unknowingly, and he's devotee, and it was like he perceived that it had some like black magic attached to it, and he was having these voices like telling him to kill his family. So he was going around and he was
Nice
having this.
Ekadashi topic, this one.
But we were talking about it and saying, well, what mode of nature is that? You know, when that voice is there in your head, what mode of nature is it? It's destructive, it's cruel, it's vicious, violent. So what mode of nature is that? And then you were saying, well, that's the mode of ignorance. I said, yes, so how do you overcome the mode of ignorance? Well, you have to at least get into the mode of passion or get into the mode of goodness. So no matter what it is that's going on internally, you just identify the mode and then increase the higher mode in order to progress towards the Shuddha Sattva.
Nice one. Nice. Thank you for that nice comment. Yeah. Of course, we try to go to Krishna. We try to go to the root. We try to go to the highest. We don't just try to mess around with the modes of nature exactly. We may do. But the society is devised to try to help protect people from that, to try to create goodness, no doubt. But ultimately, that's also material. There's never a question of pure goodness in this world. You're still subjected to the lower modes.
We were suggesting to him, like, at least check your environment. Are you clean, you know?
That's a good point,
like,
yeah.
disheveled? Are you clean?
These are all parts of the beginning stages of devotional service. Cleanliness, regulation,
Yeah.
your behavior, your eating habits,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, your clothing. You're wearing black clothes with, pictures of violence on your clothes and things, which some devotees do. Not very beneficial to get out of that mode. Listening to heavy metal rock music or something. These things are not good for getting out of the mode of good ignorance, that's for sure. Passion and ignorance. So how to change that reactionary situation? Well, what causes the reactionary situation? Go back to the false ego in one sense, but within the realm of the material world, what causes it?
Within the realm of the what?
Within the realm of the material world, which we're in,
Yeah.
what causes us to act in such and such a way, or react?
What mode we're situated in, isn't it?
What situation causes it? You could say the modes of nature, but put it in a more, let's say, word which is more accessible.
Okay, if somebody is walking down the road, like this morning we went for a japa walk, somebody was walking down, one guy, and he said, "What's that on your face?" But he said it in a very violent, he was a...
Mind your own business.
Yes, I said something like this, and then I was thinking, well, that answer was a little bit tamaguna. My answer was a little bit tamaguna. I was in Rajas because we were trying to get here, so my response, my reaction to his was based on my mode. I was like, just get out of my way, I'm busy. But if I had been more sattva going, I would have, well, actually it's like a sign of devotion. But my reaction was due to my mode of nature.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I was giving you the polite version of the story.
The polite version. Is he okay? Is he in hospital or is he in the river?
He's still alive.
You threw him in the river or is he in hospital? He's still alive, he's still alive.
That's the whole story.
I just asked him what was on his forehead.
He was actually rude to
He could have asked me if I could swim first, at least.
He was quite rude to him, and he was threatening. And then he saw me come around the corner.
Oh my God, he got scared stiff.
And then I was in Big Brother Baba.
Okay.
Paul wants to say what situation, so Paul and Summer. So it's both egos are going at it. The egos.
False egos are going at each other here. Yeah, you got it. It's false ego. The real ego is something else. Real ego means we see Krishna in the center. The real ego is servant of Krishna. That's what he's asking, how we can awaken our real ego. How do we become covered over in the first place?
Krishna, so by turning away from Krishna.
Yeah, but what happens then?
We want to become Krishna.
Huh?
We wanted to become center.
Whatever it is, but what causes us to be covered over like this?
Maya.
Yeah, put it in a very practical word.
So when we turn away from Krishna, like we're facing the sun, you turn away into the shadow, and then ignorance is.
And then what would? Okay, what does it say? What does Lord Kapila Dev say in the third canto? Have you got the third canto there? Bring me. Third canto, chapter 20 or 25 or something like that. I can't remember. Depends what version you've got. It's part 2. Bring it here. You won't find it just by looking at the chapter. You need the second part of the third canto. Okay.
Only goes to 19.
Yeah. I hope we can find it. It's very simple. Just give me the book. we have to finish on this. We're really getting late here. Okay. Let's just go to close it down. There we go. Should be, yeah, I'll look it up if it's not. It must be in this chapter somewhere. I'll just quickly look at it in the back and I'll find it. There's one word which sort of like is so important. Word. It's all very well mode of goodness. This is all kind of true.
In verse 10, Maharaj, it looks like the subject. This is 3:25:10.
Is it?
Around 10 must be, around that area.
25:20. 25:20. Prasangam ajaram pasham atmanaka bhayo viduhu saiva sadushu krito mokshadvaram pavitam. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. And then the symptoms of a sadhu. In other words, the recommendation is to associate with a sadhu. What is being discussed here is by association, we become entangled. We become affected by the association of the modes of nature and develop various concepts. And by better association, that can be changed. So the whole essence is association. By association, we develop various, whatever, habits, natures, and so on. And we react accordingly. You know, if you're born in a situation, you tend to react according to the group that you're, the situation you put. Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships. Notice he's not prejudiced by material circumstances. He's simply acting the way for the pleasure of the Lord. This is Krishna's energy, so he being guided how to act within that energy. Engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Lord, the sadhus do not suffer from material miseries. They are filled with thoughts. O my of me, on my pastimes. O my mother, O virtuous lady, these are the qualities of great devotees who are free from all attachment. You must seek attachment to such holy men, for this counteracts the pernicious effects of material attachment. What are pernicious? What's pernicious?
Intense.
Pardon?
Pernicious, intensely. Pernicious.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous, very negative, very destructive, very, very bad, negative, dangerous, destructive, like effects of material attachment or association in the mind and externally. The association is the key for changing. That means hearing carefully. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin.
Kind of complimenting what you were saying there. A lot of the time when the devotees get together, they talk about, oh, this person did this to me, and this person did this, and we should be doing this, and we should be doing that. Whereas what it seems to be saying there is when devotees come together, they should be talking about the pastimes of Krishna. And that actually is going to counteract the effects of what has been talked about.
Well, you may have had that experience yourself. You have to judge that. It's true. I mean, there's a place and time and circumstance for all sorts of, obviously, situations. But we're not here just to justify our situation. We're not here just to, judge others. That's for sure. Maybe there are some times that does occur, and it necessarily occurs sometimes in the course of social interaction, management, protecting or so-called well-being and so on. But that's not the medicine. That's not the medicine. Sometimes when you're sick, you do have to, protect yourself externally from certain things. Maybe you have to wear a big coat or lie in a bed. All these things are there, but that's not the real medicine. You have to take the medicine. The real medicine is the hearing and chanting of putting Krishna in the center. So there's a place for that, but it should be with the proper understanding, not the negative one, which we often have. We think that we can solve our problems by criticizing somebody else and justifying our situation or something. In management, you've got to have some degree of discrimination, I'm afraid. Even you may be right or wrong, but it's got to be there. In, making statements which others may or may not appreciate sometimes. You don't do it with any intent, hopefully. Not because you don't like them, but because you have either a duty to perform. I was listening to Prabhupada this morning, lecture, and he was saying that, he was talking early days in New York, and he said, just like this New York City, I do not like this New York City. I am very happy in Vrindavan. This New York City I don't like. Horrible place. But it's my duty. I have my duty to perform here. Therefore I'm trying to do my duty to my spiritual master who wanted me to come here. Of course Prabhupada may be talking for us to give an example, but we're not on that level of no, everything's Vaikuntha, everything's the same, Seeing the eternal nature of the living entity, a Madhyamadikari even has to discriminate to some extent between atheists, innocent people, devotees, and so on. We can't avoid discrimination entirely. Pure devotee, Uttama Bhagavat, does not discriminate. He sees everything in relation with Krishna and acts accordingly. But when we're interacting with this world, even if you are such a person, you have, for the sake of others, you have to sometimes appear to be discriminatory. It's not out of false ego, it's out of the mission or out of one's duty, or whatever, for some other reason. It's not because you don't like them. It's not because they're getting in your way. Not because they're, asking, what are you wearing that tilak? What's that stuff on your nose, huh? What's that stuff on your nose? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who are you to ask me that question? You like your nose or not? You like your nose? You like your nose or not? It's that type of reaction. If we can understand, we're also a little bit on that same platform, and Krishna's pointing it out to you. You're on the same platform that they are, boy. It's just a little veneer of Krishna consciousness there, but underneath the veneer, it's the same guy underneath. You have to change the insides, not just the outsides. Krishna does what he's telling you, You have to change your inside, not just your outside. Why isn't your tilak perfectly straight? That's what you could have said. Oh, I'm sorry, is it not straight? Is it not? I wasn't looking in the mirror this morning when I put it on, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for pointing it out,
That might have been more productive.
I don't know. He would have been completely bewildered. I don't know what he would have said next. There's no way of telling how he would have reacted to that.
He was bewildered anyway.
It's such an amazing situation we're in. You can guarantee the reaction is not going to be what you expect it will be. Or you hope it will be. No matter what situation you're in, you have to expect the worst. It's like, takes a lot to change our hearts, you know.
Isn't that why the mode of goodness, aspiring for the mode of goodness is like important for us? Because maintaining the mode of goodness means we don't become reactive in tamas and rajas.
No, you have to go straight to the transcendental, especially, you know, I mean, just give a good example, okay? You're driving your car, you know, so you've got to go transcendental. You're doing it for Krishna, so get out of the way. Go around the roundabout. Just get out of the way. I'm in a rush. I'm doing it for Krishna. I don't care if you crash your car. I'm doing it for Krishna.
Exactly, yeah.
Traffic lights. Straight over. Don't give way to anyone, whatever you do, because it will hold you back in your devotion to Krishna.
Exactly.
Don't stop at the zebra crossing. What a waste of time. Let the old lady fall over. Who cares?
Krishna is most important.
Krishna! Go for Krishna. Those flowers belong to Krishna. They're not yours. They put a sign up in New Govardhan, Mawulambar, the local park. The devotees were going there all the time picking flowers, you know. They put a big sign up, the council. These are not Krishna's flowers. They put a sign up in the park.
They were acting more in the mode of goodness.
More in the mode of goodness, yeah. We're transcendental. But others don't see it like that, you know. Is that preaching? Is that encouraging people to become Krishna conscious when they see you like? When they see you in the mode of goodness, that is what is. You're right, you're right. I mean, we can't imitate, we can't artificially impose, but that's definitely there. We're supposed to be gentlemen. We're supposed to be. I mean, we are what we are, conditionally speaking. We're trying to become servants of devotees, but you know, we're not so advanced. We're not so transcendental. We're not so much in the mode of goodness. And some people are. What to do? But at least we have to work under goodness. Arjuna was Rajagun, but he worked under goodness. Goodness has to be the guiding force, even if we're influenced otherwise. And it's difficult for us. We're so conditioned sometimes. Interesting topic, isn't it? Very big and interesting topic. But bear in mind how your action affects others, you can say. It's a little bit in the mode of goodness. Or at least you're thinking about the reaction to your, you know.
My reaction to this guy was completely in the mode of goodness. I was just utilizing the mode of passion to get my point across.
No, it was totally transcendental.
I made the decision.
You were freeing him of his karma. You were transcendental. You were freeing him of his karma.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
My reaction, it was a response actually. I was thinking, this guy only understands Tamagun language, so therefore I have to engage.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Now you were right. Now
I'm right.
you hit the nail on the head. You probably hit the nose on the head as well. Anyway. Devotees should be a perfect gentleman, Prabhupada says. So that's a material perspective, but it's also true. Prabhupada was always a gentleman.
In Maharaj, in Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says in preface, he says, our duty is to come to the mode of goodness by following the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further advancement will be revealed.
Good.
So it seems like we have to come to the mode of goodness. That's what we can do. With the spiritual side, we're just proving that we want to see the spiritual side by coming to the mode of goodness. And then Krishna says, okay, he put in the work, what he can do.
So today we're all going to learn from you how to come to the mode of goodness.
Very good, Maharaj.
Great.
We are learning from you already.
Not you, not. I'm one of these ones who thinks, you know, transcendental, I can do anything I like and get away with it. It's fact. I mean, you see this in Bhagavad Gita, you see this in many places. But it's not that we're spending our whole life just trying to come to the mode of goodness.
Yes.
It should be a part of the Vaishnava qualities, the Vaishnava direction, the lifestyle, everything is supposed to be to evoke that. These regulated principles that we follow are supposed to be the principles of the mode of goodness. They're not transcendental. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. These are basically in Kali Yuga principles of goodness, particularly. At least that much should be there. food in the mode of goodness. You try to, our whole life is supposed to be facilitating that. Even if we're conditioned otherwise, you eat the food which is in the mode of goodness, you dress in the way of, you listen to music. All these different things are supposed to be influenced by goodness. Isn't it? You know, you don't overeat, you don't take too spicy food. They're not in the mode of goodness. They're in the mode of passion. We certainly, even eating food like, you know, vegetarian chicken, that is not in the mode of goodness. It will not help you any at all to come to the mode of goodness. It will keep you in passion and ignorance. You may like it. For people who are in the modes of passion and ignorance entrenched, for them it's beneficial because it's, you know, it's better than what they're doing. But for one who's trying to cultivate goodness, these are detrimental features. Detrimental. Drinking decaffeinated coffee. For one who's addicted to coffee, is better than coffee. But for those who don't, it's taking you back into passion and ignorance, like that. Because you're attached to the modes of nature, lower modes. So we have to become attached to you know, the mode of activities of the mode of goodness, at least, when it comes to practical stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And association too. Key of association. It's not that we're going to hang around with people in the material world who may be more influenced by goodness necessarily either, because they're not attached to Krishna. We want to associate with devotees of good quality, good character who are attached to Krishna. Ideally. Our tendency is to do otherwise, and okay, that's the state we're at. But if we want to change, we have to associate with those who have higher character, higher quality. Association. Trying to make association. There was something very funny I wanted to tell, but it slipped my mind. I can't remember what it was. Some extraordinary experience. Huh?
Chicken? The fake chicken?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. Can't remember. Anyway, if it comes up, it doesn't. Never mind. We've gone over time, and it's supposed to be fasting today. I don't know if you're fasting or not.
There's some fast towards the prasadam in the restaurant.
No.
There's prasadam downstairs.
Well, according to the calendar, it's a full fast this morning.
Oh,
Vaishnava.
for Vaman.
Yeah, for tomorrow, because you don't fast tomorrow. Today we're fully fasting.
Oh, I didn't know that because I think they made breakfast downstairs.
Well, those who are not following, they can take breakfast. Those who want to follow the system which was established in the Vaishnava calendar, we completely fast until afternoon. To reckon this is yeah, because tomorrow is Dwadashi, you're not so.
Breakfast.
You can fast also if you want, but you generally don't fast in the morning on Dwadashi because you break Ekadashi.
Looks like 12 o'clock. Thank you, Maharaj, you saved me from.
Well, I don't know if you save anyone. Prabhupada was so. I wasn't a fanatic, but those things are there, and we've always done that. But it's up to you. I'm not going to go down and start ranting and raving if you're taking prasadam this morning. You're an offender. You're a demon. You're
Or the one who organised it, even.
Oh yeah, especially the one who organised it. Boy, he should be removed from his position immediately. I'm going to write to the GBC immediately on this one.
Have a meeting about it.
Huh?
Have a meeting about it.
Yeah, we have to have a GBC meeting about this one. Yeah. Who's the manager around here?
Sagati.
Who's the manager? Who's your president? Do you have a president here or not? Who? You're supposed to set the laws for mankind. What type of lawmaker are you? You're breaking all the laws of mankind here. Easily done. It's happening all the time, I'm afraid. But it's good to keep an eye on the calendar, at least invite and inform the devotees. It's up to them what they do, isn't it? Krishna said that to Arjuna. I've told you everything. It's up to you what you do now. You choose. So no big deal. You may have to work, you may be hungry, you may have already got geared up for it, the prasadam's sitting there. If I carry on talking in 2 or 3 hours, it'll be like you won't notice it. I got to start my rounds now. And then we got to, what time's Hari now?
2:30.
2:30. What time's class?
Class is 6. 6.
6 till?
6 till 7,
6:30.
8.
And then Kirtan again, is it?
Aarti.
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 And Prashad, is that?
Yes.
Arti at 7, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, 6 till 7. It's good to know.
7 is that?
After class.
After class, yeah.
RT is flexible.
Yeah.
Arti is flexible, is it?
Another one of these matters.
I like this temple here. No rules and regulations here. Mongol Arti is flexible too, isn't it?
Get that letter on to the Jews so quickly.
Hare Krishna. All right, so Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hey.
We'll carry on. No, we won't. Tomorrow's Vamana Day's appearance day tomorrow, so it'll be Vamana Day tomorrow.
Okay.